Hello everyone, from a cold winter's day in February. I just want to go back a few days, just give a little build up to what we saw and experienced on the cliff tops on Tuesday the 30th of January. Because the little bit of footage that I got only lasts a minute, so a bit of background on it. We usually go on a Monday night, myself, Pete, and maybe another one or two people will head up to the cliff tops. But unfortunately, we weren't able to do it this week, so we went up on the Tuesday night. Walking down the path to the cliffs, single bright orange sphere appears. Comes from nowhere, like I've described before. Doesn't fly in, doesn't fly out, just sort of morphs into existence and implodes and it's gone. Lasts seconds. That's why it's so difficult to get these things on film. Then over the course of approximately an hour, these things are appearing over the sea. One appears, becomes 6. Another appears and becomes 2 or 3. And it's kind of interesting because this is why we're there, not just to experience the light form phenomena, but we're there to experience the unexplained. But the bulk of the time, it's a thankless job, and we're absolutely stood in the darkness, stood in the cold, just, I don't know, it's not getting anywhere and not finding out a great deal about what's happening. Trying EMF meters, Geiger counters, tri-field meters, anything to break the monotony, because I'm my own worst enemy. I tell people that true unexplained phenomena does not present to order. Then I find myself stood on the cliff tops waiting for it. But I don't know any other way of doing it. You know, I mean, yeah, we definitely want to try and capture evidence of what I'm talking about. So the lights are presenting. And then, out of the blue, I get a phone call whilst I'm actually filming or attempting to, because I decided to leave the camera running. And we know that the battery life isn't great, and especially on a very cold night. But I thought, let's leave it running rather than try and start the camera, and in those few seconds we'll lose it. And the phone rang.
Oh my God, I can't believe it, Paul.
Where are you?
I'm on Southfield Balk in Wetwag, and I'm looking east, and I can see these things.
You probably ain't got time, but you should come up here. We're at Bempton.
Are you at Bempton, are you?
Yeah.
I can see these things as clear as a bell, mate.
And as you can hear from that conversation, this man, 20 to 24 miles away, is actually watching the same things that we're watching. And he's talking about them looking just as bright, just as vivid. I'm not sure how that works, because we have got between, 12 and 17 miles, 22 miles, depending on the elevation that you're at, to the horizon. And I would have thought that we're looking 15 to 17 miles out from where we were stood. And these things are clearly out at sea and at least 7 miles out. So potentially they're 30 to 40 miles away. Yet this guy can see them. And as I'm filming, he's going, I can see one now.
Appearing and disappearing in all different parts
yeah,
of the sky.
well,
One just appeared now.
Yeah, that's right. Well, believe it or not, this is Bempton, and you can see them from Wetwang.
I can see them as clear as day, mate, from Wetwang, yeah.
And you've literally just said, I can see them. There's one now, and we've just got it on camera.
Have you really, mate? That's amazing.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad you've rang, Steve, because what's even more amazing is how far inland are you from Bempton?
I must be a good 23, 24 mile at least.
23, 24 mile, and we're looking out to sea probably 15 miles, so these things potentially are 30 to 40 mile out, aren't they?
Well, potentially, yeah. I've just had my flight radar app on, and there's no flights in the area.
There's no flights in the area, flight radar. You're doing me a favour, because you don't mind, Steve, I'm recording you, because I'm recording on camera.
Right, okay, mate, no worries.
No.
I'm really surprised by these things. I've never seen that like it, Paul.
Yeah.
It started off, I came out just to do a bit of stargazing.
Yeah.
And over to the west, I saw this almighty gold bright light. As soon as I looked at it, it was moving. As soon as I looked at it, it disappeared. And these things are clearly out at sea and
at least 7 miles out. So potentially they're 30 to 40 miles away. And as I'm filming, he's saying, I can see one now. It's lighting up now.
They keep appearing and disappearing in all different parts.
Yeah, well,
It's obvious because on my camera, it's opening up. It's the same thing that I'm filming that he's watching. I don't know how that works. Years ago we were at Caton driving home from our daughters and son-in-law, and these things opened up over the sea between Filey and Bempton. I'd got a Sony camera in my bag, and it was, shall I stop the car and attempt to film these things, or shall I drive on, drop my wife off in Bridlington and drive through to Bempton and spend a few hours? And I chose that option. I should have stopped the car. Where am I going with this? Steve Ashbridge at Hornsey, which would have been another 15 miles away from Bridlington, so we're talking a 30-mile distance whilst we're at Caton, says he can see them. They look like they're over Bridlington and Bempton. He's describing them as looking as big as what I'm looking at them, so I'm not sure what's happening here. They look like kind of like an eyelid. There was an arc or eyelash. It was really strange, just this row of lights. Unfortunately, we didn't get them on film. But as you can see, Tuesday the 30th of January, not only did I manage to obtain a little bit of footage, we also had another witness watching these things. We did get more footage. I got 6 lots, but I'm just showing this bit here. Kind of reserved the best, if I'm being truthful, because I will be doing some projects with Les, and I'll be doing some projects with Chris Turner, and that's what it will be getting used for. So after we'd watched these objects, after Steve had told me he could see these things, we kind of left to digest what we've seen, what we've experienced. We're not coming away with any solid answers as to what these things are. I rule out military tech for the light forms, the ILFs, the intelligent light forms, for one reason and one reason only. They're in the Coast Guard and lifeboat logs going back decades and decades and decades. And the display, what they present, has not changed. So we're going back 50, 60 years, and we're still looking at the same thing. So if it's military tech, it's not advanced that much. So, are we looking at a true unknown, something that's entering our sphere of existence? Potentially we are. Are we looking at some kind of Earth-like phenomena? Could be. Don't forget, we're over a negative magnetic anomaly. A very strong negative magnetic anomaly, which is out at sea there and on the cliff tops. So does that have any sort of influence on what we're seeing and what we're experiencing? I really don't know. All I know is that we were privileged to see this on the 30th of January over the North Sea. And I've said before, I've created this word, the sub-universe, the submerged universe. 95% of the oceans of the world uncharted. The chances are that these things aren't coming from space. Everything could be residing and operating from below the oceans of the world, below the submerged universe. So I'll leave that one with you. I hope you enjoyed the little bit of footage. In reality, those orbs were bright orange, but the Psionics camera has displayed them as white. I can do nothing about that. So if you like what we're doing, please press like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.